My sister's scream shattered the courtroom, but it was the judge's gavel that broke me. 8 kids, 8 pairs of eyes, all staring at me like I was their last hope, me, the 25-year-old aunt who could barely keep a cactus alive. I'd always been the odd one out in our family. Growing up, I was the quiet kid who hid in the attic with books while my sister, Lena, and her husband, Mark, built their chaotic empire of kids and bad decisions. They were the golden couple of our small town. Lena, with her megawatt smile, Mark with his loud laugh and endless schemes. Everyone loved them. Everyone ignored the cracks, the missed bills, the late night fights, the rumors of side hustles that sounded less like entrepreneurship and more like crime. I saw it, though. I saw it all from the sidelines, biting my tongue because family doesn't snitch. But family also doesn't end up in prison for running a drug ring out of their garage. That's what landed Lena and Mark in cuffs, staring down a 15-year sentence each. The courtroom was a circus reporter scribbling, neighbors whispering, and their 8 kids, aged 3 to 16, sitting in a row like lost ducklings. I was there because Mom begged me to show up, to support the family. Support, that word would haunt me. The judge read the verdict, and Lena's wail echoed like a siren. Mark just stood there, jaw tight, eyes burning with something I couldn't read: anger, maybe, or shame. The kids were worse. Little Sammy, the youngest, clung to his teenage sister, Mia, who was trying to look brave but was shaking like a leaf. The older ones, Jake, Lily, and the twins, Ethan and Emma, stared at the floor, their futures crumbling. The baby, Noah, was with a social worker, blissfully unaware. I wanted to run. I wanted to disappear. But then Mom grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin, and hissed, "You're taking them." Me, Ellie Harper, the sister who moved 3 states away to escape the family drama. The one who worked 60-hour weeks as a graphic designer to afford a 1-bedroom apartment and a life that was mine. Take them. 8 kids, I laughed, sharp and bitter, right there in the courthouse hallway. Mom didn't flinch. "They're family," she said. Like that settled it. Dad nodded, his face gray with exhaustion. The aunts, uncles, cousins, all of them turned to me with the same expectant look. Like I was supposed to fix this, like I owed them. I didn't owe anyone anything. Lena and Mark made their choices. They built their life on lies, and now it was collapsing. Why was I the one who had to pick up the pieces? I looked at those kids, Mia's tear-streaked face, Jake's clenched fists, Sammy's tiny hand reaching for someone, anyone, and my chest tightened. I wasn't heartless. I loved them. But love doesn't mean you're ready to raise 8 humans when you're still figuring out how to raise yourself. That night, I went home and stared at my apartment, my quiet, orderly apartment, my sketches pinned to the walls, my coffee mug still in the sink, my life that was finally starting to feel like mine. Then the phone call started. Mom, sobbing, Dad, pleading, aunts and uncles, guilt-tripping. "You're single. Ellie, you've got no kids, no responsibilities. You can do this." Like my life was some blank slate they could scribble their chaos onto. Social services called too, asking if I'd consider temporary guardianship. "Just until we figure things out." They said, "Figure things out." Like it was a puzzle, not a lifetime commitment. I met with the kids the next day at Mom and Dad's house, where they were staying temporarily. The place was a war zone: diapers on the couch, cereal spilled on the floor, Ethan and Emma arguing over a cracked iPad. Mia, the 16-year-old, was trying to feed Noah while answering Sammy's endless questions about where Mommy and Daddy were. Jake, 14, sat in the corner, scrolling on his phone, his face a mask of teenage rage. Lily, 12, was drawing quietly, but her hands shook. The twins were wrestling, and the 7-year-old Ava was crying because she'd lost her favorite stuffed bunny. I stood there, overwhelmed, as Mom pushed a stack of paperwork at me. "Sign it, Ellie. They need you." I didn't sign. I couldn't. My heart was screaming to help, but my head was louder. I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't built for it. I'd spent years clawing my way out of our dysfunctional family, building a life where I could breathe. Taking them in would mean giving that up. No more late night sketching, no more quiet mornings, no more dreams of moving to New York or traveling the world. Just me, drowning in school runs, doctor's appointments, and therapy sessions for kids who'd been through hell. But saying no wasn't easy either. Mia cornered me in the kitchen, her eyes red but fierce. "You're just gonna leave us," she demanded. "You're gonna let them split us up in foster care." Her words cut deeper than Mom's guilt trips. Jake overheard and chimed in, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Yeah, go live your perfect life. Aunt Ellie, we'll be fine." The younger ones didn't understand, but they felt it, the tension, the fear. Sammy tugged at my hand and asked, "Are you my new mommy now?" I froze. I didn't have an answer. The next week was a blur. Social services was pushing for a decision. The family was relentless, calling me selfish, heartless, a traitor. I started packing, not for the kids, but for me. I booked a one-way ticket to Seattle, where a friend had offered me a couch and a fresh start. I told myself it was temporary, just until I could think clearly. But deep down, I knew I was running. The night before I left, I went to see the kids one last time. Mia wouldn't look at me. Jake flipped me off. Lily handed me a drawing, a family portrait with me in it, holding Sammy's hand. "Don't go," she whispered. I hugged her, tears burning my eyes, and promised to call. But as I drove away, suitcase in the trunk, I felt the weight of their stares lifting off my shoulders. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. Seattle was a new world. My friend Tara let me crash at her place, and I threw myself into freelance work, sketching logos and websites for startups. But the kids were never far from my mind. Mia's texts started coming short. Angry ones at first, then quieter, sadder. "Sammy misses you. Noah's teething. They're splitting us up soon." I'd reply with promises to visit, to help from afar, but they felt hollow. I sent money when I could, but it wasn't enough. It was never enough. Months passed. I got my own place, a tiny studio with a view of the Puget Sound. I was building something, maybe not the life I dreamed of, but close. Then Mom called. The kids had been placed in foster homes. Mia and Jake were together, but the others were scattered. Sammy was with a family that didn't speak his language. Noah was in a group home. Lily's foster mom had found her crying over that same family portrait. "You could have stopped this," Mom said, her voice cold. I hung up and cried until I couldn't anymore. I started calling social services, asking about the kids. I sent letters, care packages, anything to let them know I hadn't forgotten. Mia wrote back once, a single sentence. "You chose yourself." It stung, but she wasn't wrong. I had chosen myself. But was that so bad? Was it wrong to want a life that wasn't defined by someone else's mistakes? Lena and Mark had built their mess. The family had enabled it. Why was I the one who had to sacrifice everything? Still, the guilt gnawed at me. I flew back for Christmas, visiting each kid where I could. Mia was distant, but let me hug her. Jake was still angry but softened when I gave him a new phone. Lily showed me her sketchbook, full of drawings that broke my heart, families holding hands, houses with picket fences. Sammy didn't remember me at first, but when he did, he wouldn't let go of my hand. The twins were louder, wilder, but they smiled when I brought them comic books. Ava had a new bunny, and Noah, now toddling, giggled when I tickled him. For a moment, it felt like we were a family again. But I wasn't their mom. I wasn't their savior. Back in Seattle, I started therapy. I needed to untangle the mess in my head, the guilt, the anger, the love I felt for those kids but couldn't act on. My therapist asked me what I wanted, not what the family wanted, not what the kids needed, but what I wanted. I didn't know. I still don't, but I'm trying to figure it out. I visit the kids when I can. I call, I write, I send what I can afford. Mia's in college now, studying social work, determined to fix the system that failed her. Jake's in trade school, fixing cars. The others are growing, healing, finding their way. They don't hate me anymore, but they don't call me family either. I'm just Ellie, the aunt who tried but couldn't stay. Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice. I could have taken them in, given up my dreams, been the hero. But at what cost? My sanity, my future. And what about their right to a stable home? Not one held together by someone who was barely holding on herself. There's no clean answer. Life isn't a movie where the music swells and everyone gets a happy ending. Sometimes it's just a series of impossible choices, and you live with the one you make. What do you think? Was I wrong to walk away? To choose myself over 8 kids who needed me? Is family an obligation, or is it a choice? Share your thoughts because I'm still wrestling with mine.